Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
I'd like to welcome you to the Nash County Board of Commissioners meeting for May the 20th, 2024. It is customary for us to begin our meetings with a prayer by a city commissioner. During this time, you're welcome to stand and join us in that prayer. You're welcome to use it for your own prayer or a moment of silence, whatever your heart leads you to do today. And we also have a pledge of allegiance to the flag, which I'll ask Commissioner Wayne Outlaw to lead us in. And at this time, I'll call on Commissioner Gwen Wilkins to lead us in the invocation. Ms. Wilkins.
Stand. Let us pray. Gracious God, thank you for this day. You are our strength and our refuge, and we ask that you guide our steps, our thoughts, and our decisions. We ask that you give us wisdom and understanding, faith and guidance, and bless the citizens of Nash County. Give them the same that you give us, Lord, so that they will understand the decisions we make and the actions we must take. In your Son's name we pray, amen.
Amen. Would you join us in the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioners. We're now on item number 4. Item 4 is the Citizens Academy graduation, and at this time, I'll call on Mr. Jonathan Edwards to take care of this great occasion. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, thank you for having us today. On March 26th, we kicked off the 2024 Nash County Citizens Academy, where participants spent the last 8 weeks learning about Nash County government and the services that we provide. This year, we had 24 people complete the program, 7 of which were Nash County employees. We also had 2 foreign exchange students with the Nash County Public School System, 1 from Germany and 1 from Brazil. Altogether, they were the 15th group to complete the Nash County Citizens Academy, and an absolutely wonderful group of people. I appreciate their commitment to the program, and I want to thank them for a great 8 weeks together. I'd also like to thank Communications Specialist Amber Dropko for her help and hard work supporting the Academy. I have a short video to play, and then we'd like Chairman Davis to come down and we'll hand out the certificates.
Okay, sir.
Hello, I'm Jemmy Andrews, a participant of this year's Citizens Academy 2024, and here's a look back at our last 8 weeks learning about Nash County government. Citizens Academy kicked off March 26th, where we learned a little about Nash County's history. We met the county manager who explained the basic structure and purpose of county government, and we learned about the Planning and Inspections Department. Week 2 was all about emergency services. We heard from 911 communications, emergency management, fire services, and EMS. The highlights this week were a visit to the 911 center and a tour of an ambulance. Session 3 focused on money. We began with a presentation from Economic Development. We learned about money coming in through the tax office and the use of these dollars from the finance department. We created our own county budget and had to agree with our small group on where to spend our imaginary tax dollars and what to cut. During week 4, we learned about benefits from the Veteran Services Office. We met with Nash County Public Utilities and Facilities, and the highlight of the session was visiting the Register of Deeds office. Session 5 was very memorable. We met Superior Court Judge Timothy Wilson and learned about the court system in Nash County. We then heard from the Sheriff's Office, where we were treated to a canine demonstration and a tour of the Nash County Detention Facility. In week 6, we visited the Nash County Ag Center to learn about cooperative extension, soil and water, and the Board of Elections. Highlights included a tour of the Nash County Arboretum to see all the beautiful gardens and a mock election where we voted for our favorite foods and local sports teams. Session 7 was held at the brand-new Pet Connection Center. We heard presentations from the Health Department about clinical care, restaurant and food inspections, and well and septic systems. We really enjoyed meeting Ember and seeing other animals at the center waiting to be adopted. Our last session was May 14th at the Nash Senior Center. We enjoyed hearing from Parks and Recreation, Senior Services, and Travel and Tourism. Our highlight this week was a tour of the Senior Center. I enjoyed being a part of this year's Citizens Academy, and I learned so much about what it takes to bring services to the residents of Nash County. If you're interested in joining the Academy, visit www.nashcountync.gov for more information.
Mr. Chairman, if you'd like to come in.
You want to take them?
Our first participant to get a certificate was polite enough to narrate that video. Jimmy Andrews, please come on down.
Hello.
Thank you for
Put you to work.
participating.
Put you to work, you guys did.
Yes, yes.
You did a great job.
Thank you, sir.
Turn around, Jimmy. You get a picture.
Thank you, man. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Next, we have Jacqueline Bauer.
Oh, how are you, man?
Nice to meet you.
Congratulations. Good to meet you, Bobby Davis. This way, I'm sorry.
Have a nice day.
Thank you.
Miss Anne Marie Brown. And Miss Heather Louise Finch.
Hey there. Thank you.
I did. It was fun to do the budget part.
Thank you. Thank you. man.
Thank you.
Sandy Fouch.
Okay, congratulations. Thank you. Thank you.
Miss Tequila Hill.
Thank you.
How are you doing? Good to see you. Been a while. Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Joanna Joyner.
Good to see you. Thank you for participating. Thank you. Good, good. Thank you.
Rose Lewis.
Thank you.
Robert Locklear.
Hey there. Good, good to see you. Thank you for participating. you. Yes, sir. You too.
Liz Lord.
You enjoyed it.
One way to get it all down there.
Thank you.
Jeannie Sanders.
Thank you. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.
Janine Trimmer.
Hey, how are you? Good to see you.
Thank
you. Thank you.
Lindsay Walston.
Hope you enjoyed it. Good.
And then in appreciation for our longtime volunteer, Miss Hattie Cooper. Come on up, Miss Hattie.
Thank you.
Gotta get a hug too. Good to see you. Tell, I won't tell things. Thank you for it.
Thank you so much.
That's it. I am just going to read out the other folks that couldn't be here today. Miss Leah Carlton, Brenda Dickerson, William Ebert, Elena Ferreira, Harriet Griffin, Walter Harper, Daniel King, Olivia Kleiner, Sarah Oberlin, JoJo Ricks, Carla Smith. Thank you all. Are there any questions? Thank you.
What's that, Mother? Well, it's always a great event for the Board of Commissioners to get to do, and certainly appreciate the staff that works on this very hard. And I would just ask everyone that sees this graduation today to pass the word along that we do this each year, and I've never had anyone that didn't say they got a lot out of it. So look to have you look into it next year when it comes up and consider doing it. Okay, with that done, we'll move on to item number 5, which is presentation of the fiscal year 2025 budget for Nash County. And I'll call on our manager, Stacy Saxler, at this time to come forward. And I'd just like to say, while she's coming up, or are you going to sit there? It's fine.
I'm going to stay planted right
Okay,
here if you
that'll
don't
be
mind.
fine. I do want to say on behalf of the commissioners that way back in February, our manager gave us a budget calendar, what she called it, and it listed out about 11 different dates that we would work through as we got to the point today. And I think by statute, she is actually asked to make a presentation of this budget by the by June the 1st, I think what statute actually says. And I looked back over all of those dates this morning earlier as I was getting prepared for the meeting, and took note that every date that's on there, the staff, the manager as well as her administrative staff have, and all the other people that worked on this, which is probably most people work at the county, have hit every date. And we greatly appreciate the timeliness of what was done at each step of the way, and look forward to hearing what you got to say this afternoon. So proceed on.
Okay, thank you so much. You have a recommended budget book in front of you, and the first tab is the budget message, and you also will have the PowerPoint in front of you to follow along. So thank you, and yes, many staff members and hours of work have gone into preparing the budget and this message today, so I thank the staff for all of their assistance. Good afternoon, Commissioners. I'm pleased to present to you a recommended budget for fiscal year 2025 that addresses these top county priorities: strengthen public safety to allow Nash County to be competitive in attracting and retaining skilled professional employees; pay for all employees that provides a livable wage that supports strong, healthy families; capital improvements that ensure the safety and maintenance of our facilities and our valuable digital property; support for child welfare for the health and protection of our most vulnerable citizens; and economic development growth, development, and strengthening of existing assets. This FY 2024-2025 budget is presented to you in accordance with the North Carolina Local Government Budget and Fiscal Control Act. The proposed budget is presented subject to a public hearing and the Nash County Board of Commissioners revisions and approval. This budget, as presented, is balanced. The budget provides the resources needed to ensure the delivery of governmental services in a fiscally responsible manner. The budget is one of the best tools to demonstrate the board's priorities for the future of Nash County. This proposed budget is a continuation of the financially sound and fiscally conservative practices established and embraced by Nash County government. This message will focus primarily on the county's general fund, which is the largest fund and includes all governmental activities supported by local tax revenue. We'll take a look at revenues. The overall FY25 proposed budget, which includes the general fund, enterprise funds, special revenue funds, and internal services funds, and property value adjustments based on the FY24 revaluation process, is $142,973,213, compared to the current fiscal year 24, overall approved budget of $134,587,602. The general fund budget is proposed to be $125,469,132, which is $7,690,832, or 6.5% greater than the current original budget, FY24 original budget. For estimated tax base and rate, the Nash County total estimated valuation for FY25 is $10,994,000,000. At 100% collection, each penny of the tax rate assessed will produce $1,099,400. The total estimated tax base increase from the 2023 tax year is 28.9%. Through the revaluation process, Nash County is required by law to make public the revenue neutral rate. Revenue neutral is a budget term that means the revenue brought in by property taxes in a revaluation year would be approximately the same as if the revaluation had not taken place, after an adjustment for average annual growth. Local officials are not required to adopt the revenue neutral tax rate when they adopt the property tax rate. Nash County's current tax rate is 67 cents. The revenue neutral rate after the revaluation process is 57.5 cents. Through the budget process, we have evaluated the county's needs for staff, operations, and capital, and we are recommending a new tax rate of 63 cents. The recommended budget is based on 63 cents per 100 valuation using a conservative collection rate of 97.5%. The FY25 general fund budget anticipates a collection of $68,030,645 in ad valorem tax revenues, which includes estimates for the collection of prior year delinquent taxes, interests, and other miscellaneous charges. For property tax collection, the ad valorem revenue reflects an increase of 20.8% over the current budget year, due to an increase in the tax base. The increase is due primarily to the countywide revaluation of real property for the 2024 tax year. According to the FY23 Nash County audit, the overall tax collection rate in Nash County was 99.23%. This represents Nash County's highest collection rate over 10 years. The collection rate for real and personal property and public utilities was 99.1%, and the collection rate for motor vehicles was 100%. For the purposes of estimating next year's tax revenues, this proposed budget assumes a conservative collection rate of 97.5% of real and personal property and for motor vehicles. The tax office is committed to maintaining Nash County's high tax collection rate during future years and will continue to concentrate on the collection of prior year's delinquent taxes. Due to increased collections in current and prior year's tax, the tax office has continued to reduce the county 10-year outstanding delinquent tax balance. This balance is now just under $2 million, when just 9 years ago, it was almost $5 million. For sales and other tax, sales tax collections are budgeted at $23,896,930. This estimated collection is based on the current year projected collections. Sales tax collections are the second largest funding source for the general fund. Other taxes total $954,500. Sales tax and other taxes represent 19.5% of the recommended budget. For intergovernmental revenues include revenue received from other governments, local, state, and federal, with a projected total funding for FY25 at $18,260,728. This includes funding for the Department of Social Services and the Health Department and various other state and local restricted funding. Total projected intergovernmental revenue represents 14.6% of the general fund. For other operating revenues, the projected funding for other operating revenues includes permits and fees, sales and services, investment earnings, rentals, and a one-time transfer from ARPA interest and other miscellaneous revenues, which totals $11,499,918, or 9.1% of the general fund budget. For fund balance and reserve appropriations, the FY25 budget proposes a $1.9 million, or 1.5% of the general fund budget and fund balance appropriations as a balancing factor. Nash County budgets an amount we believe can be offset with a combination of greater than expected revenues and expenditures less than appropriated. Restricted health reserves are budgeted at $1,318,258, and together, fund balance and reserve appropriations represent 2.6% of the general fund. For fee changes, the recommended budget contains some necessary fee adjustments to ensure cost equity in several of our service areas. This budget includes fee increases for environmental health, landfill, construction and demolition, and yard waste, and utility fee schedule changes. And the next slide, I believe, is your pie chart showing your revenues by function. Just a quick glance at that. Now we'll talk about expenditures. The following portion of the budget message highlights particular funding items which have significant impact on the proposed budget. The first item is for salaries. The board continues to recognize the contributions of all of our staff and the economic burden placed on them by the rising cost of goods and services. Therefore, the recommended budget includes a 5% cost of living adjustment for full-time employees and permanent part-time. In an effort to avoid creating compression in our pay structure, we will apply a 3% increase to our salary table for the recruitment of new staff. For personnel and new positions, this budget recommends 2 new positions: a facility safety specialist, as well as a director of public buildings and utilities. Additional positions were requested, and we are working with leadership on strategies to meet the needs of the organization. The county remains committed to creating a workplace culture which includes benefits that retain and attract quality professionals. Local government retirement. The proposed budget includes an increase in local government retirement expenditures as part of employees' benefits. This is a required increase to accommodate the state retirement rate increase from 12.89% to 13.63% for general county employees, and from 14.04% to 15.04% for law enforcement officers. These changes resulted in an increase of approximately $1,090,000. For general government, the budget includes funds for general government operations totaling $12,724,826, or 10.1% of the general fund budget. This function provides for all administrative county operational costs, including governing board, administration, grants, human resources, finance, legal services, information technology, communications, tax, facility maintenance, register of deeds, and the Board of Elections. For public safety, the recommended budget for public safety functions is $37,859,106, or 30.2% of the general fund budget. Public safety includes the following departments: the Sheriff's Office operations, including the detention center and court services, 911 emergency communications, emergency services, including fire and rescue, EMS operations, medical examiner, forestry services, and animal control. Nash County has experienced difficulty recruiting in emergency services and our sheriff's office. While we know factors other than pay contribute to this workforce issue, we do want to stay competitive in the market. The majority of growth in the public safety budget is attributed to the public safety salary study that was performed to prepare this budget. County-only data from the pay study was used to add $2,074,232 to accommodate for increases in salaries for our public safety personnel. Economic and fiscal development. The recommended budget for economic and fiscal development functions is $3,031,988, or 2.4% of the general fund budget. This function provides for planning and inspections, cooperative extension, soil and water services, the Rocky Mount Wilson Airport, and our Nash County economic development. Human services, the recommended budget for human services functions is $31,624,575, or 25.2% of the general fund budget. Human services includes Public Health Department, Department of Social Services, Senior Services, Veteran Services, Mental Health Services, Office of Juvenile Justice Program, Home and Community Care Block Grant Services, and outside agency funding. We experienced many positive changes in our Department of Social Services this year. Child welfare has been a leading priority, caring for the well-being of our youngest residents. We are seeing increased costs in temporary placements and placements that can provide for the specialized needs of our children. These and other expenses related to full-year funding for positions added in the current year have increased the budget by 9.78%. For cultural and recreation, the recommended budget for cultural and recreation functions is $2,655,765, or 2.1% of the general fund budget. This function includes funding for the library, Parks and Recreation, and Parks Maintenance. The total for this function includes funding for Braswell Library, including the state library grant and the county's 5 municipal libraries. For education, the recommended budget for education is $25,963,271, or 20.7% of the general fund budget, excluding debt service. This includes funding of $21,376,860 for current expenses and $1,396,890 for capital needs for Nash County Public Schools. This budget also includes $2,899,521 for current expenses and $290,000 for capital needs for Nash Community College. The total recommended funding for Nash County Public Schools remains constant from the current fiscal year. The school system continues to work through the costs and savings of the demerger. The impact of the state budget is still an unknown. For these reasons, Nash County will maintain current funding and work with the Board of Education regarding their local operating funding needs as we move forward. The recommended budget for the community college contains an 8% increase over the current fiscal year budget. Debt service. The overall debt service for fiscal year '25 is $6,983,801 of general fund budget, including debt service for Nash County Public Schools of $3,084,524 and Nash Community College for $611,126. For capital, the recommended budget for capital is $2,160,800. This appropriation includes funding for technology storage and protection, tough books, personal computers, radios for public safety, vehicles for the Sheriff's Office, EMS, and DSS, building improvements, Sheriff's Office PenLink server, and ventilators. Other funded capital includes infrastructure at Miracle Park at Coopers, HVAC controls, and a grant-matched cedar and hauling trailer for our Soil and Water Conservation District. There are major capital needs that are not included in the FY24 recommended general fund budget. Staff are working with Davenport Public Finance to be considered for financing options and future planning. Transfers out. The budget includes total transfers of $2,450,000. The transfers consist of $200,000 for the Tax Revaluation Reserve Fund, $2 million from restricted sales tax to the school capital fund, and $250,000 for the detention center construction change orders. And next, we have a pie chart of your expenditures by function. We'll take a look at an overview of other funds. In addition to the general fund, the county administers several funds supported by fees and other restricted revenue sources. The enterprise fund and the fire district's funds are briefly mentioned here. Other funds included in the overall proposed budget are included in the budget summary. Nash County's enterprise funds, the solid waste fund and the water and sewer funds operate as enterprise funds with no property tax contribution. Each fund is supported by user fees. Fee increases are recommended in these funds due to increases in the cost of doing business. The recommended fee increases are presented in detail in the fee change section of the FY25 budget workbook. Solid Waste Fund. The solid waste program is composed of two elements: the construction and demolition landfill and convenience sites. The budget is recommended at $4,250,277. A proposed tipping fee change was presented to the board and is included in the recommended budget. The total budget represents a 14% increase over the current year, primarily due to capital recommended for the replacement of a compactor. For water and sewer, the Water and Sewer Fund is made up of Central Nash Water Sewer Fund and Northern Nash Water Sewer Fund. The combined budget appropriation for the two utility funds is recommended at $3,838,631. Proposed fee changes were presented to the board to adjust for rate increases the county will experience, primarily from the impact of the City of Rocky Mount rate increases. For the fire districts, there are 18 fire districts in the county that have individual tax rates. The county levies tax in these fire districts throughout the county and administers the collection and disbursement of those taxes within the fire district's fund. Fire districts were provided with their revenue-neutral rate as determined by the reevaluation process. All fire districts requested to keep their rate the same, except for the Silver Lake Fire District, which has requested the revenue-neutral rate of 10.89 cents under their current rate of 11.45 cents. And the Davenport Fire District was requesting an increase from 8.5 cents to 10 cents. In conclusion, I feel confident this budget, based on the new property tax values and a decrease in the current tax rate from 67 to 63 cents, will generate revenue to meet the needs of Nash County citizens for a number of years to come. This budget makes critical investments in public safety, staffing, capital improvements, child welfare, and economic development. It also strongly supports education, all human services, parks, and libraries, which enhance the quality of life for existing residents and those seeking to relocate to Nash County. I would like to take a moment to acknowledge and express my appreciation for my leadership team. They have worked tirelessly to help me provide a recommended budget, and I thank them for their hard work, dedication, passion, professionalism, and team effort. I truly have the privilege of working with the best of the best. For next steps, a copy of the budget has been filed with the clerk to the board and is available for public inspection in the manager's office as well as on the county's website. A notice of public hearing will be published as required. No earlier than 10 days after May 20th, 2024, the date of this budget presentation, and no later than July 1, 2024, the Nash County Board of Commissioners must hold a public hearing and thereafter adopt a budget ordinance making appropriations, estimating revenues, and levying taxes for FY 2024-2025. County staff recommends the Commissioners hold the public hearing on June 3rd, 2024 at their 9 a.m. regular June meeting. Commissioners are urged to carefully consider and study the recommended budget. If there are any questions or concerns, please do not hesitate to reach out to county staff. On behalf of your staff, we look forward to working with you. We look forward to working with the Commissioners during the coming year to provide the best services possible at the most reasonable cost to the taxpayers of Nash County. Thank you for your time and consideration.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Great message. Any comments from any board members at this time?
I said it was amazing, all that reading, and you didn't pause to get a drink of water.
Understood. Any other comments?
Can I just ask for one clarification?
Sure.
Go back to the pie chart on public safety. where I think it showed 37.
Yeah, the pie chart's at the end of the expenditure section there. Okay, right there.
Okay, I'm looking at public safety, and it shows 37 point, okay, that's 37.9 million, that's not a percent.
Correct.
I'm good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Uh-huh,
30.2%,
right.
which is a pretty significant increase in public safety,
it
which I
was-
think we all expected that.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, I do want to ask, is the public going to be able to see the breakdown, like for the sheriff's department and EMS, as to what you're recommending for starting salary for deputies and EMS, detention and EMS workers?
Yes, we can make that available.
Other comments or questions? Well, as the manager stated, this will be available after today, I guess, in the clerk's office for any citizen to come up to the county administration building and review it. And we would certainly encourage you to do that if you have any questions whatsoever. And the board, of course, needs to take the book, each one of us, and start studying the numbers and seeing what you like, what you might have questions on. And I would like to schedule, if the manager's okay with it, a work session on the budget for the full board sometime after this date, sometime next week, if we could do that. And it would be an open meeting, of course, because it is on the budget. And I penciled in the dates of maybe sometime the 28th or the 29th, if we could look at our calendars and see if we could work that, but I really need to ask staff what they have available. I think it'd be best if we tie down a date today rather than burden the clerk with trying to corral us 7 to a date and staff at a later time. Seems to work best.
I think we're good on the 28th. Do y'all see anything? Good.
What is the board
We've
members
got
look
a
like?
treasury meeting at 3:30 that day, so that morning.
At what time are you talking about?
Well, that's the next step we'll take. If we're okay on the 28th, we can do it morning or afternoon. Commissioner Combs has said he needs the afternoon free to go to one of his meetings he needs to go to, which is a Trillium meeting, I believe.
Tia also attends that meeting.
Those
Tia.
are out of town, aren't they?
Well,
Yep. What did you say, Dan, about somebody?
Tia also.
Oh, so we'll be there, I understand that, yeah. You suggest a time in the morning?
Is 9 okay?
Everybody okay with 9 o'clock?
Yes, I am.
And I would encourage you to come with any questions you may have. And we're talking about the 28th or 29th?
28.
28th, Tuesday, the 28th?
Okay, fine.
29th is out with me. I can come on the 29th.
That's fine, 28th.
Talking about
we can-
28th I can.
Yes, sir.
28, 9
Yeah.
o'clock.
I feel like it would be a better setting to do it in the commissioners' conference room. Do we think that will work?
Yes.
For it being an open meeting, there's plenty of other seating.
That'll be fine.
Okay, all right. Madam Clerk, if you'll help me remember to recess that time instead of the time on the agenda, that would be great. Any other comments about the budget presentation?
I'd like to commend the manager for all her work and her team's work on it.
Thank you.
Looks like it's pretty thorough. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
You read a lot of numbers anyway, did you?
Yeah.
Other comments?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, ma'am.
The only thing, not only for the public's benefit, but looking in here, I'm looking at the totals, and I want to make sure the board sees the breakdown, how much you're recommending, the deputies start at, how much you're recommending the EMS workers, the detention officers, rather than a total, like we had in the first set of documents we got.
We can provide that.
Any other comments? I'm going to move forward into item 6, which is the 2021 Community Development Block Grant Public Hearing out of the Economic Development Department, and I'll call on Ms. Emily Moore at this time to make the presentation and request prior to calling for the public hearing. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon. Let's see, and with me today, we have Jessie Walker. She is with the Wooten Company, who was hired to help administer the project, so she is also here for the public hearing.
Okay.
So Nash County received $750,000 in CDBG Economic Development Building Reuse Funds from the North Carolina Department of Commerce Rural Economic Development Division. These funds supported the renovation of a 190,000 square foot vacant manufacturing facility to be reused by the Crump Group, a Canadian manufacturer of all-natural, limited ingredient pet treats. This project allowed the Crump Group to establish a new manufacturing facility at 4626 Coleman Drive, Nashville, and required the creation of 100 new full-time jobs, approximately 60% of which were reserved for persons who were previously low and moderate income status. The purpose of the public hearing is to review, assess the performance of, and close out the 2021 Community Development Block Grant Economic Development Project and allow the residents of Nash County an opportunity to express their views regarding the building reuse project. What you have attached with it is just the notice of the public hearing, so it ran in the paper, we mailed it out to a couple of places, and it was hung up within the county. And then the recommendation is to hold a public hearing.
Any questions of Ms. Moore on this item prior to calling for a public hearing? Seeing none, I entertain a motion to go into public hearing.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Wilkins, a second.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Leggett. Questions on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed by a like sign? Motion carries. Ladies and gentlemen, we are in a public hearing to hear any comments from the public that would like to address this block grant. And of course, it's something that's in the arrears. It started back in 2021. The company is here, of course, and has been operating for some time. And in fact, we're very fortunate to actually have just announced another expansion. But we're dealing with the original grant that we have. So if there's anyone wish to come forward to make any comments, we'd be glad to hear from you this time. State your name and address for the record. I think you're fine to stand right there, Ms. Moore. Seeing no movement, I'd entertain a motion to close the public hearing at this time.
Motion to close the public.
Motion by Commissioner Combs, there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Outlaw. Commissioner
I defer to Commissioner Wilkins.
Commissioner Wilkins, any questions on that motion? Seeing none, all in favor of closing the public hearing, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed by a like sign? Any other questions of Mr. Moore on this item? If not, I'd call for a motion to approve and close out the 2021 CDBG project.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Outlaw, is there a second to the motion? Second by Commissioner Belfield. Questions on that motion? Only question I'd have, I'm thinking we have verified the job count and the percentage that needed to be in the lower income, and everything comes up very well.
Yes, as of the end of April, they were at 119 full-time jobs created, 78% of which, prior to being hired, were low to moderate income.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
So they exceeded it.
All right, all in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed by a like sign? Motion carries as well.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry, can we the last item under the budget, the presentation for the recommended budget, I think we need a motion from the board to have the public hearing scheduled on Monday, June 3rd at 9 a.m.
Okay, I missed that, I'm sorry.
I think we all missed it.
Back up to item number 5, it actually, on your Roman numeral 3, we were, according to statute, I'm sure, supposed to call for a motion to go into public hearing at that given time. And that's our regular scheduled meeting, so I'm assuming nobody has a conflict with it. So at this time, I'd call for a motion for the budget public hearing to be held on Monday, June the 3rd, 2024 at 9 a.m. or shortly thereafter. Is there such a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Wilkins, there a second? Second by Commissioner Belfield. Questions on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed by a like sign. Motion carries, and the public hearing is now established. The other item we have on the agenda today is a closed session. The closed session is for some attorney-client privileges and a economic development item. I'd entertain a motion to go into this closed session at this time.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Leggett, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Combs. Questions on that motion? Do we expect any action after the closed session, Mr.
I
Attorney?
don't think there would be any action taken.
Okay. Do not expect action after the closed session, but if we do, we will certainly, either way, be coming out here to close or recess the meeting, and at that time, we will take any action that needed to be. All in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed by a like sign. Motion carries.
Mr. Chairman,
We'll take about a 10-minute recess, and then we'll go into closed session. Go
I
ahead.
just wanted to recognize the mayor of Bailey here today.
The Mayor of Bailey doesn't need recognizing. Everybody knows him, but we're certainly welcome him here today, sir. Glad to have you anytime. And a good friend of many of us, Yvonne, is here as well, McLeod, and pleased to have you here today, ma'am, as a visitor. Anything else before we go into closed session? All right, we stand in recess for just a few moments, and then we'll open up in closed session, and of course, return out here to close the meeting. Recess the meeting. Call us back into regular session at this time, and during the closed session, there was no action taken by the board. It was just a legal matter and one industrial recruitment matter that we had just a little bit of discussion on. So at this time, I would entertain a motion to recess this meeting until May the 28th at 9 o'clock. Is what we'll be doing, and that will be for a work session by the board on the 25-26 budget. And after that meeting, of course, we'll recess again to our legislative dinner on the 30th. So at this time, I'd entertain a motion to recess until May 28th at 9 a.m.
Motion to recess to May 28th at 9 a.m.
Motion made by Commissioner Combs, second to the motion.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Wilkins. Questions on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed by a like sign? Stand recessed. Thank y'all.